Talon, this defense is obviously getting a lot of heat, just haven't been able to get off the field in 2 straight weeks, giving up a lot of points. What has to change right now, and how do you approach it to try and turn this ship around?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we each individually need to look inside and figure out. I don't think there's just one problem. There's one solution for. I think there's lots of things that we need to fix, and it's going to be a lot of reevaluation and introspection for each player, and trying to figure out what we can do to be better.
Jay and then Kevin.
Alan, Liberty used kind of BYU's prominence nationally, their national brand, as kind of a motivating factor. How do you guys react to that, and how are coaches preparing you guys to play with the so-called target on your back?
I mean, BYU, we know it is a national program, and we have a lot of reputation out there and nationwide fan base, and so they just help us remember that it's an honor to play for BYU, and just express gratitude to all the people that helped us get here. Each player has their own journey how they got here, but we're just grateful to be able to put on the BYU jersey and then have our names on the back and the Y on the front and be able to play football. So just gratitude.
With how many veterans you guys have on this defense and brought back from last year, are you at all surprised about where this defense is at 8 weeks into the season?
I mean, we definitely haven't lived up to our expectations, and our expectations were high, as were everybody's expectations for us. So yeah, we haven't lived up to what we believe we can do, and the goal is to reach those expectations and exceed them from here on out the rest of the season.
Jake and then Sean.
Talon, we just heard from Ryan that Puka Nacua is one of the guys who spoke up in the postgame locker room. Is there a guy that's on the defense who, for lack of better terms, the guy is willing to rip into people if need be?
I think there's a lot of guys. Could you restate that question, please? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Is there somebody on the defense who, when things are going sideways in a game or in a post-game meeting, that type of stuff, a player or maybe even a coach will step up and essentially say what needs to be said?
Oh yeah, so there are some vocal leaders on the defense. There's a lot of leaders that lead by example, and some of the vocal ones are Caleb Hayes and Tyler Batty. They take the initiative to be vocal and help us get better.
Sean, go ahead.
You'd think by now I'd know how to find the mute button, Talon, but sorry about that.
Oh, good.
I just wanted you to kind of walk us through that interception that you had on Saturday a little bit, and then maybe a two-parter to the question. Do the DBs feel kind of a need to sort of step up and go up and make plays? Because a lot of what you did with that pick, I say this kind of tongue-in-cheek, but kind of seriously, that's sort of been the linebackers' domain a little bit to make those interceptions. So is that a focus for you guys to make plays like that?
I mean, as DBs, we always talk about tips and overthrows. Need to be ours, and that was an overthrow, and it came right to me, landed right in my lap. So I'm glad that I was able to finish the takeaway. And I mean, every group, to kind of address the other part of your question, every group feels the need to step up, and so as the DBs, we have that same desire to step up and do better.
Mitch, go ahead.
Yeah, Talon, first off, thanks for doing this under tough spots. I think it's your first time doing this, so I appreciate you doing this. Wanted to ask you about your road back, coming back from the Achilles injury last year, and do you feel like how you felt maybe pre the injury before you suffered that Achilles injury?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a long recovery process. It happened last summer in July. Had surgery, and then it's definitely, there's still a little more that I can get out. And then before the Achilles injury, I felt like I was improving. I was, getting stronger, getting faster, and don't think there's a limit to that. And so I definitely feel that I can feel the same. I can get faster. I can get stronger, and I'm working to do that. And just hoping I can not just to be back where I was, but to be even better than where I was before the injury.
We'll take last question from Jared.
Alan, you talked about how everyone needs to look inside themselves and have that, that internal conversation and hold themselves to that highest standard. There's an interesting correlation to that, though, that I want to ask you about, because you're human. Everybody on this team's human. There will be mistakes. How do you keep that from deflating you when a mistake happens? How do you keep that from snowballing into multiple mistakes?
Yeah, it's definitely been something I've been guilty of, is snowballing into more and more mistakes. But one thing that we can do is next play, just flush it, move on next play, then we'll address it later. It's the in-game moments where we need that mindset, and then we come back after the game. That's when we can watch the film, rewatch the play where we made the mistake, and then dive into more detail and figure out exactly how we can fix it, and then move on from there.
Thanks so much, Talan.
Yeah, thank you guys.